Welcome to the Seraphine podcast. I'm Seraphine Arocha, and I am back with Chelsea Atia. Hello, hello.
Hi.
And we are reviewing The Hill's New Beginnings, episode 3, The Last Hurrah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, this show, I swear, it is like bubblegum to my soul.
It is. It's just so stupid. It's good.
It is.
I just love it. If you just need something to distress or just like watch something with no thinking, watch The Hills. You'll be very entertained.
It is. I usually will put it on in the background, even if I've seen the episode, if it's replaying, and it'll just get me in the mood to, like, if I'm going to go out to dinner with my husband or if I'm going to clean up and I just need like company.
Yep.
You know,
they're like Brody and Caitlin friends.
Yep, totally. So we start out, and I love how MTV like creates their scene openers. It's Audrina in a bathing suit gardening.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was like, I know, because I always garden in my thong bikini.
Exactly.
No, it actually wasn't bikini. It was one of those like tanks.
But
that's really
super low cut.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh gosh. And then her stylist comes in.
Oh my God. And I love how they're like, her stylist, by the way, looked amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, she was like totally like my vibe with all the layered jewelry and just like talking to her and getting the down low about like what was going to happen with their trip. It was awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. I loved it whenever I thought it was funny when she told Audrina, she kind of like made it an awkward moment because she said, "Who's going to take off this dress?" And Audrina's like, no one.
Oh my God. I think Audrina gets so much crap for just her past dating life.
She does.
She does not catch a break, the poor girl. And it's, you know, it's because number one, she's stunningly beautiful. Number two, she's super nice.
She's so sweet.
I mean, but people just love to give her guff about it.
Yeah, they do. But I will have to say about Audrina, she hasn't aged at all.
No.
She still seems like the same Audrina that
She
was
looks
in.
better.
She does.
She has more eyebrows.
Yeah.
She, you know, her makeup is less. She got better with age. She's
did.
somebody who looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I love how we pan to Heidi and Spencer. And again, I don't know if it's the production team, if it really is Heidi and Spencer playing up that they drink champagne 24/7.
I love them.
I mean,
I don't know why, but I do.
I do. They're just like happy, pretty messes.
They really are.
They literally should be a part of the Erica, you know, the tree from the Real Housewives of just like, they just got a little mess in them all the time.
They're a hot mess.
They really are.
But they know TV well. They know how, like, they're just all over the place, but it's so funny. I mean, again, Heidi is like, well, this is my last hurrah because I'm not going to drink champagne for 2 years. And Spencer's like, great.
Yeah, like that's really going to happen.
That sounds fun for me.
So we've got the next scene with Caroline and Caitlin. I love how they kind of like allude to the fact that they could be, but they're not. They're just both divorced friends going on this trip together.
But then her friend's like, I think you need to try that on for me. And I was like, oh, that was a little flirty.
I know. It's, you know, it's always this funny, like little thing. And I'm like, well, are we going to go there, MTV, or not?
Yeah.
But we didn't go there, but they look like they're excited for the trip.
You know what I'm kind of thinking happened? Because there's been stuff that's said about Brody and Caitlin when they were married. They like a lot of times had threesomes. And I am pretty sure that Amber, his new girlfriend, was a part of this at one point.
I got that vibe too.
Yeah.
I totally got that vibe. So we leave Caroline and Caitlin and we go to, for me right now, they're a bit of a snooze fest, Brandon and Danny. I always feel like when you have a girlfriend that's new on these shows, like the girls really tend to like go in the background and like are just kind of the quiet girlfriend vibe.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that we get a little bit more like va-va-voom from Danny. I don't know.
I think it's in her. I really like Brandon. I think he's so mature for his age. He's like 22.
Yeah.
And he is, and especially growing up with rock star famous parents and living in LA, the fact that he wants a committed relationship is really kind of like foreign for anyone in LA. So he wants that. He loves that with Danny, at least for now. And I think they're pretty cute together. I do want to see more though. I think that she's probably a little shy.
Yeah. Well, and I also feel like Brandon is really, I get a feeling with him. he's a bit posturing of like, I want to keep it together. I want to show that I earn my own money.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like he wants to present a certain thing for the camera. And, you know, we see in the episode, it's a little bit later when they're on the beach, he gets a phone call and he like loses his crap. And I'm like, these are like what I call red flags of like, he presents a certain persona and then you see there's like little cracks, you know, in the foundation of what he's presenting. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds.
I agree. I think I remember that part of the episode, and I think for him it's just more so of like proving himself, which I don't hate that part. I think he did I think he just let himself down a lot in that part, but I'm excited to see him get to know him better in the show.
Me too. I also feel like they're not giving a lot of screen time to Ashley and Jason.
Yeah.
And I actually really am like, I don't know. They're the first season, you know, they really played on the alcoholism part of Jason. I'm like, they can't be that boring that they get no time, but they really
I'm not a huge fan of them.
No, I'm not either, but they're like, literally their screen time is usually Ashley's in a bad mood. So I'm like, God, is Ashley always the person who's kind of like, I hate this?
Yeah.
But then again, if you're married to somebody who is a former alcoholic, I mean, you do end up not being the most fun in the room like Heidi.
Exactly.
But boy, I kind of want to just like slide her something to like let her loosen up or give her an extra. And again, it's awful for me to say that because Jason he's battling so many demons, but it just feels like every time that they come on, I'm like, this is going to be the scene. And then it just kind of fades out. And the other couple that I actually think would be a fun couple, but they're just kind of the filler couple, is Frankie and Jen.
She's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
I never even like paid any attention to Frankie's wife, but she's beautiful.
She's
and
gorgeous.
They are just a filler couple. They're not like a main character. They're married, so they're
I'm like, just give them a little screen time. I want to see a little bit. But anyway, then we go with the awesome setup of Brody bringing Amber. I'm like, what the hell could you imagine if you had a big trip, right? And it's all these people have known each other for years and years and years. And then there's one couple who's recently divorced. Well, I guess they've been divorced for a year and a half. That's what they say. But then in comes this girl who's like, hey.
Yeah.
I mean, bad decision making on Brody's part.
And I think he regrets that later on, not telling Caitlin or giving her a heads up. She's totally in the right for saying, you know, I think I deserved like a little bit of a forewarning. She didn't say like he couldn't take her or shouldn't have taken her, but she did say I would have liked to have known. I think she's cool.
Yeah, I think that how Caitlin handled it was pretty good. I do think that the whole setup was interesting. But I have to say, when you see everybody kind of like arriving and getting in on you know, the rooms and setting up where they're going to go, the exchange, Audrina was crazy. We had this awkward exchange with Audrina with, is this your girlfriend? When she meets Amber. And it's like, it's so weird. And Brody's so like, you can tell Brody's a little bit like starting to see Audrina's irritated, Caitlin's irritated. Yeah. And then you now see Amber like getting like
she feels uncomfortable. Yeah. But I would too.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't help Amber.
No.
Didn't help her out at all. So then we go on the booze cruise, what I'd like to say. It's so funny to see like the dinner on the boat. There's so many of these in California. And like it looks nice on deck, but I'm sure the boat was, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it's a really great boat. But I was like, it's a booze cruise boat.
Yeah.
And I love how everybody kind of walks in and Heidi head to toe, that Gucci jumpsuit. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, that needs to be in my closet. She looks so cute. And then Justin is so weird. Like he says stuff, you know, they're all having these conversations about, you know, what's going on in each other's lives. And like, you know, when Heidi and Spencer come in, like they're all over the top. And he's like, well, you know who I am. I'm the back door man.
Yeah, like he doesn't like to make an entrance.
But I'm also like, you're the back door man. I'm like, what the hell does that mean, Justin? He's so freaking weird. He tries to be so cool. I'm like,
He does. He loves being the mysterious, like, nomad.
oh God, yes.
I'm like, you're playing that part a little too hard. Like, we get it. We
And
understand.
He's smoldering. He's like always smoldering.
Yeah.
He's always in the background like, oh, I see you, Caitlin, uncomfortable.
Yes.
Now I'm going to pull you off to the side to have an awkward conversation.
That they were going to get together, though. Like, I had a feeling they seem very similar in a weird way.
Yep.
And I just see that them being pretty compatible. So I'm not surprised that he kind of like, once he probably found out that her and Brody broke up, he was probably like, oh.
Well, him and Brody also have that underlying kind of competition of
They
who's
do.
the sexiest, coolest dude
They do.
on the show. And then, again, Caitlin is really playing up this, oh my gosh, like vulnerability thing. And I get it. But she is the one who made a bold step outside their marriage.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if you both agree that you're having a third party and it's like a mutual decision. It's another one to be like, hey, I want a relationship with Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's fine that she is bothered, but she can't get too, oh my God, because I mean, she's the one who made the big step to my understanding.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. So the next day, Caitlin and Brody have a chat about Amber coming on the trip.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? Like how that discussion kind of played out?
I mean, the whole thing is very awkward because they were together a year and a half prior to this, and they were married. In the last season of The Hills, they were married. So to have a conversation with your ex about him bringing another woman on the trip and you being like, it's still a civilized conversation is so bizarre to me. But again, like all the Jenners and his mom and everything, they all remain cordial with their exes. Yeah. So I thought that it was good that she spoke up and that she kind of stood up for herself. And I thought it was great that Brody understood.
Yeah, I think that when we see this kind of play out, it's so interesting that literally Justin piggybacks on it and is like, let's go to the horses and have a meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
Like they're really kind of playing with this like seesawing of getting Caitlin to be like this damsel in distress. So,
yes.
And their conversation, I'm all about it, but I was like, let's move on from this.
You know what confuses me about Justin Bobby is that when Spencer was telling them about how Heidi wants 5 kids and stuff, he was like, no way. He's like, no way would I ever want to be doing that, blah, blah, blah. But then when he's talking to Caitlin, then all says of a sudden he wants kids.
Yeah, all of a sudden he changes his mind. I'm like, okay, let's just slide into her heart with bullshit. I don't know.
Exactly.
So then I love, though, how they flip the script from snooze fest Justin Bobby into Gunner drinking fake champagne with mom and dad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was hilarious.
He is going to be a mess too.
I know. It was the funniest thing. I love how, he's like, Daddy, I want champagne. And then Spencer's like, not until you're 21. I'm like, oh my God. They're
hilarious. They really do make
They really do. And they totally take us out of that wong, wong, wong with Justin Bobby. And then we're like back into it. Then we have, this whole weird exchange between Amber and Heidi.
Yeah.
It was like this, like, not a low blow, but like, I love how Heidi just like, you can tell was like, oh, you think I'm your godmother. Okay, I'm going to play this up, girl.
Yeah.
So, of course, she goes over the top when there's a little bit of like, oh, you're calling me your mother to some degree. Yeah. And again, I know probably Amber didn't mean anything by it, but we know that Heidi didn't just take that in jest. She like little, like put a little check mark by that. Like, okay, but I'm going to be nice and I'm going to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll see when the other shoe drops.
Yeah.
Because it will.
Yeah. I actually didn't get that vibe from Heidi. I thought that I think she was just drunk and like eating it all up. She's like, oh, I love that someone likes me the best. And Amber, I think, was trying to find her comfort zone with a female in this. So she was like, okay, Heidi's being super nice to me, but Heidi was being, Brody was talking about how when you're uncomfortable in a group of people that you don't really know and someone is pressuring you to do something, like you're going to do it because you feel like
I want to be part of the group or prove myself.
Yeah. So that's like Heidi was just feeding her these shots and alcohol, and I guess Amber has a problem or something.
Well,
so.
it's very instigatory.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I have to say, I don't think Heidi was all like, I'm a godmother.
Yeah.
I think she has a problem a little bit with Brody.
Yeah.
I think she's irritated because Brody and Spencer have hit heads many a times.
Yeah.
And I also think that she kind of looks out a little bit for Caitlin and the OGs.
Yeah.
And I think that whole thing with her trying to push Amber to do shots, and then also pointing out to Brody, because Brody really plays up the sobriety and tries to make Spencer out to be a drunk.
Yeah.
So in the end, Heidi always low key has got Spencer's back.
She does.
And whether or not the godmother comment stung her, I still didn't think it won any points. And I'll be honest with you, I take it from like a perspective of Heidi, of being like, okay, this girl comes in and, you know, here she is and here's Brody, all high and mighty. You get a little defensive and very protective. She's a mama bear. She really is.
And
she
I love that about her.
I do too.
She always has Spencer's back.
She totally does. She's had it from day one, and she's a loyalist to her friends too. I think she gets fired up pretty easy, but you know, she's also the first one to be like in tears and being like, I'm sorry, I took it too far. Then you know, we have this, I don't know, this whole little thing that like Spencer normally would like insert himself into. Mm-hmm. And I think he saw Brody getting pissed, and Brody actually has lashed out before at the girls in the first season. Mm-hmm. So Spencer kind of stayed out of it, because that's part of the reason why Spencer and Brody had such a fight last year was all of that, because Brody can be mean.
Yeah, Spencer saw how, which to be fair, Audrina, which is not like her, kind of was stirring the pot a little bit by going back to the men's table and saying like, well, Amber is saying that you're not allowed to like drink or she's not allowed to drink and stuff and whatever, kind of egging Brody on. So he didn't respond well to that. I didn't think it was completely out of line but you could tell he was fired up, and Spencer was telling Heidi, I thought this was mature of Spencer.
Yeah.
I loved it. He was like, I don't think you should not stay in this. You should stay out of this, because if I saw how he reacted to Audrina, and if he's the same way with you, like, I'm gonna have to do something, and me and Brody are like cool now. So I think you should stay out of it.
And I feel like Brody has kind of been, he's really had his hand slapped several times about Caitlin, about his drinking, about his attitude. And now it's like painting him out to be a controlling boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I think that Brody is like fed up.
He is, because he knows how TV is, and he doesn't want to look like that. Because I don't think Brody's controlling at all. He doesn't seem like that at all.
No, I think he'd pull the plug real quickly if he felt like he had to control a girl.
Or if he was being controlled, I don't think he'd like that either.
So it'll be interesting to see again how all of this plays out. This episode for me was really interesting to see. Everyone's got a little bit of a dark side. I mean, even Audrina, who's like, la, 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 you can really tell that there's still a little feeling with Brody. And then, you know, with Sean coming in, you know, I don't think she likes that whole feeling of being
tied down.
And I don't tied down, and I think she wants to explore her options a little bit.
I think so too. I don't think that Sean is going to catch her attention or keep it.
No.
At all.
That invite was really awkward, that Heidi and Spencer are like, oh yeah, just come. I mean, I would be like, it's kind of like Amber. Yeah. It's like you're bringing this guy in, but anyway.
And Audrina didn't want it to be that way. No. She wanted it to be just like a celebration with her friends.
Totally.
So
it's going to be interesting to see what is next on The Hill's New Beginnings.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any thoughts about all the drama that transpired between Brody and Amber and Audrina and
Heidi
and the whole cast, I swear, drop the comments at the bottom, and as always, click subscribe, and we'll see you on our next episode. Bye-bye.